In the Korean army, Jae-eun is very excited because he's finally getting discharged. As soon as he leaves the base, he reunites with his girlfriend Yang-yo. However, the moment is ruined when he wakes up and realizes it was a dream. Later during watch duty, Jae-eun calls Yang-yo, who has a hungover, and tells him they can talk in the morning. Jae-eun wants to call her again, but his superior catches him red-handed and scolds the whole team for their irresponsible behavior since In-ho has fallen asleep. The next day Jae-eun tries calling her again, but Yang-yo is at work so she doesn't pick up. Afterward, Jae-eun and In-ho are part of an emergency drill. The rest of the team works with perfect efficiency, but the duo is clumsy and falls on the stairs while carrying a weapon prop, which during a real emergency would equal death. Their angry commander punishes the entire team by making them take the stairs of the 77th-floor building where the base is located. Then the commander takes everyone's phones. As Jae-eun hands over his, he receives a text from Yang-yo apologizing for not being able to talk earlier. Later, while Jae-eun and a teammate are delivering supplies to the hotel in the same building, Jae-eun glances out the window and sees people convulsing on the street. He thinks nothing of it and continues his errand to the kitchen. While his teammate is distracted, Jae-eun borrows a phone from Chef Young and calls Yang-yo, who has to quickly hang up because she's still at work. When she has a moment alone, she tries calling the same number, but Jae-eun has already given the phone back to Young. In the evening, In-ho tells their commander that he has a sick kid and asks for his phone. However, he grabs Jae-eun's on purpose and gives it to him in private. Jae-eun hides in a closet to call Yang-yo and is devastated to hear his crying girlfriend asking him for a break because she sees no future in their relationship as long as he's in the army. The next day, Yang-yo is having lunch with her co-worker Jin-wook when Jae-eun calls her again. At first she ignores it, but when she sees a voicemail arrive, she rushes to the bathroom to hear it. In the message, Jae-eun apologizes for everything. He admits that asking her to wait is unfair and suggests they break up. Yang-yo starts crying and decides to visit the base, so Jin-wook offers her a ride. During the trip, Jin-wook confesses that he is willing to wait for Yang-yo, making her uncomfortable. Suddenly his car collides with a man and the impact sends him crashing through the window. His eyeball ends up on Yang-yo's neck, making her scream. To her shock, the man is still alive, so she puts the eyeball in a bag and asks Jin-wook to help her take the guy out. However, Jin-wook prioritizes calling the insurance company and Yang-yo has to ask the curious crowd for help. She recognizes celebrity Alex, putting him on the spot. Now Alex has no choice but to help her for the cameras. Together they pull the guy out by his legs and drop him on the ground. Alex is shocked to notice his wounds aren't bleeding and tries CPR, only to accidentally break the man's ribs. Now the crowd thinks Alex killed him. After the body is moved, they check Jin-wook and notice he wetted his pants. At that moment, a truck begins speeding down the street with the driver's head stuck in the window, and Jin-wook jumps out of the car just in time to avoid being run over. At the same time, Jae-eun and In-ho are sent to get gasoline for the base. Since the military elevator is out of order, they take the route through the hotel but are stopped by hotel manager Soo-jung. She warns them not to walk through the hotel because it may make the guests uncomfortable. Before they leave, they notice a plane heading toward the building and everyone panics, including the soldiers on the roof. However, the plane makes a turn at the last second and ends up crashing on the street instead. Jae-eun and In-ho decide to take the hotel elevator and are joined by manager Aaron, who scolds them for not using the stairs to stay away from the guests. Suddenly the elevator stops and an emergency light flashes red. Aaron uses the comms to request help and soon the elevator is working again. However, when it opens the doors on the next floor, they are horrified to see bodies on the floor and a man falling dead. A bunch of people run down the corridor in panic before a bloody hand stops the elevator from closing. His face looks quite monstrous, and when he falls he gets stuck in the door, so after calling for help, Aaron covers him with his jacket. The trio leaves the elevator and they're shocked to find a massacre. There's blood and organs everywhere, a terrible smell, and people chasing each other. Following some intestines reveals half a man on the ground still moving, which confirms that the zombie apocalypse has arrived. When Aaron tries to run away, a zombie attacks him, so In-ho hits the creature with a bottle to make it fall. Then three men push a table to trap the zombie against the counter. Using the lighter Yang-yo gifted Jae-eun, some alcohol, and a tablecloth, they manage to light the zombie on fire to kill it. Chaos and fear are taking over the city too. After the plane crash, an alert is sent to every phone and the government is sending as many rescue teams as possible. A state of national emergency is declared and martial law is imposed. At the base, the siren wails and the soldiers must get ready with real guns. Aaron makes some calls and discovers the whole building has been taken over, so he goes looking for the security team. Jae-eun and In-ho try to return to the base and a bunch of zombies start chasing him through the corridors. The duo manages to find the emergency stairs and closes the door on the zombies' faces. As they go up, they're horrified to see the chaos in the city. Unfortunately, the stairs are blocked, so they'll have to take the public ones. Then they see the staff room and come in, only for Soo-jung to hit them with a mop thinking they're zombies. After calming her down, they check the phone but it isn't working. Then they fill a cart with sanitizer bottles and a scraper before coming out. On their way to the stairs, they see a zombie behind the counter, who jumps to attack them. Jae-eun uses the sanitizer with the lighter to set him on fire, but the creature keeps on advancing. In-Ho stabs his head with the scraper and cuts off the top part, finally killing him. On the street, Jin-wook is accidentally left behind and the zombies go after him. Alex runs to rescue him and ends up being chased by zombies too, so Yangyo is now alone. When a creature comes after him, she runs too and manages to hide in a salon. She then calls her mother to tell her to stay inside and inform her she'll still go to the base. Meanwhile, Jin-wook sneaks into a golf store to change clothes. A man hiding under the clothing notices Jin-wook's Rolex and follows him out to knock him down. While he's grabbing the things, Yangyo and the salon owner show up to scare him away. Jin-wook decides to go to the police and Yangyo agrees to accompany him before heading to the base. Back in the hotel, the trio keeps moving and finds Young holding a door to keep lots of zombies out. They rush to help him and notice the glass is starting to crack. Jaeun lights the whole cart on fire and tells his friends to let go. The glass finally breaks and Jaeun pushes the cart so the flames engulf the zombies and block their way. Unfortunately, the fire also triggers the sprinklers, so the group has run very fast to escape from the incoming zombies. They manage to hide behind the stairs gate and Young collapses, so Jaeun has to help him move. In the meantime, Yangyo and Jin-wook arrive at the police station, where a desperate crowd sells supplies while waiting for the cops to do anything. Here they find Alex, who tells them the zombie outbreak is happening all over the world. There are many crazy theories about what happened, but nobody knows the truth. He also explains that people get into fights when phones ring, so he advises them to turn theirs off. Yangyo sends Jaeun one last message before doing so. Suddenly a group of armed men known as hunters push the crowd to the side and burst into the police station. They open fire inside to scare the police zombies into leaving the building, causing the crowd to run away in fear. As the hunters open fire to kill the creatures, Yangyo and the guys start running too until they find an empty bar to hide in. Back to the base, the 4 survivors make it to the roof where the soldiers are waiting. They don't believe the zombie story and scold Jaeun for bringing civilians to the roof. At that moment the zombies appear on the stairs, so the soldiers rush to close the door. Then Young collapses and the others notice he isn't breathing. When he stands up again, he's transformed into a zombie because he was bitten in the leg. Young tries to attack Sujing, who blocks him with the scraper. A soldier hits him with his weapon to make him fall, but Young quickly recovers and the men are forced to open fire. However, their guns have blanks instead of actual bullets, so Young only gets scratches. When he picks up a soldier by the helmet, the others start discussing if they should use real bullets on a civilian. The man falls when the helmet breaks and the other soldiers use the chance to hold Young down, but Young is much stronger and starts rising. His neck snaps in the process, yet he still manages to bite a man, ripping off a good chunk of flesh. Tired of waiting for the real bullets, In-Ho stabs Young in the chest with the scraper before stabbing him in the head too to kill him. Afterward, the team leader is angry because In-Ho killed a civilian. Jaeun comes to his defense, pointing out that killing the zombies is the only way to survive, which comes before protocol. The bitten soldier is taken inside for treatment, but after a long convulsion he dies. Then the team argues with their leader until he allows them to have their phones back to call their families. Jaeun sees all of Yangyo's messages and immediately texts her back. In the bar, Yangyo finds a cassette with Jaeun's favorite music, which brings back memories of their old dates. Alex then reveals he has a tablet and shows her a picture of In-Ho and Jaeun running around the hotel. It turns out Alex was there as a guest earlier. Yangyo cries as she turns her phone back on and tries calling Jaeun, but the network isn't working because there are too many calls. She decides to go to the base and Alex volunteers to go with her, so Jin-wook reluctantly comes too. The trio runs through the streets, taking the long road to avoid zombies. At the base, the soldiers realize they don't have much food, so they ration it in small portions. During dinner, the power starts failing and they discover their phones don't have signal anymore. Suddenly something bangs on the door and the group concludes the dead soldier must have transformed. The leader opens the door and sends the man flying, confirming he's a zombie now. One of the men is happy to see his friend alive and runs to hug him, only to get bitten in the head instead. The others run to separate them, then Guy Young and Sujing start doing CPR on the bitten soldier, hoping to stop him from dying and therefore transforming. The rest of the team covers the zombies with a blanket and opens fire, finally killing him. A flashback shows that Yangyo and Jaeun met each other in college. Yangyo was the most popular student, but she turned down every guy because she only had eyes for Jaeun. Later they started working together in the same ice cream shop and Jaeun protected Yangyo from rude customers. Working together allowed them to bond, but when Yangyo finally was brave enough to ask him out, Jaeun turned her down. In private he confessed to a coworker that he felt that someone like him could never be with someone as beautiful as her. After work, Jaeun found Yangyo crying at the bus stop. Yangyo tried to run away but tripped on her shoelaces, so Jaeun helped her out and admitted he liked her too. In the present, the bitten soldier turns into a zombie and tries to attack. In-Ho throws boiling water at his face, but this only makes the zombie angrier. The other soldiers still can't shoot someone with a friend's face, so Sujing takes a gun from them and kills the zombie herself. On the streets, Yangyo and the guys find a drunk Samsu throwing up. His leg has a zombie bite, however he hasn't died or transformed at all. The trio wonders if they should bring him at all, but at that moment Samsu's phone rings and gets some zombies' attention. The group immediately runs away and hides in a restaurant. Sam-soo is tied up and Jin-wook thinks they should kill him before he transforms, but Yang-yo refuses. After Sam-soo throws up again and describes how much he drank, an argument ensues on how to proceed. They're suddenly interrupted by a zombie cop coming out of hiding and trying to attack, however he ignores Sam-soo. Yang-yo runs away from the zombie and trips in the process, causing him to trip as well. This makes a bunch of dishes fall on his head, killing him. Afterward, Alex takes the cop's breathalyzer and uses it on Sam-soo to confirm his alcohol level is still very high. He theorizes that alcohol keeps zombies away, so the group decides to drink until sunrise to see if being drunk can keep them safe. While drinking, Yang-yo tries calling Jae-eun but the lines are still down, so she sends a text. She also remembers how he was there for her when her father died. The lighter had been a gift from her to her dad when she was a child, and before dying the man left the lighter for Jae-eun. The next morning the four of them are incredibly drunk and leave the restaurant. Soon they find a horde of zombies, so while the others hide, Sam-soo moves ahead. Since the creatures ignore him, he can easily reach a car and honk the horn as a distraction, which allows the group to escape. They only stop at a store to get some snacks and they use the window as a display of the violence happening outside. At the base, the group wonders why one of their friends transformed fast while the other took longer, but the conversation is interrupted by a shot. Everyone rushes to check the office and is shocked to discover their leader has self-deleted because he couldn't handle the guilt of losing so many men. Afterward, Jae-eun watches the city burn and confesses to In-ho that he has lost his sense of duty. They decide they must abandon the base and find their loved ones. The duo goes to see the second in command and find him getting ready to self-delete, but the man puts away the gun and pretends he's fine. Jae-eun and In-ho explain that the base is running out of food and water, but before they can get permission to leave, the office phone rings. It's a call from the higher-ups telling them that a helicopter will drop supplies soon, which means they can't leave. The soldiers get ready to welcome the chopper, however In-ho realizes that the pilots are zombies. He warns the others and they immediately open fire. It takes lots of bullets, but eventually they destroy the engine and the helicopter crashes on the ground. Then they get a call from their superiors scolding them for destroying army property, and their punishment will be not getting any supplies, yet they aren't allowed to leave either. Deciding to ignore orders, the new team leader announces they're leaving anyway. After Sujing receives her own uniform and gun, the group starts making their way downstairs while shooting any zombie that appears on their way with admirable teamwork. When they make it to the lounge, they search the kitchen and kill another zombie before grabbing all the food. Meanwhile, Yang-yo's group arrives at the building, only to discover the entrance full of zombies and an ambulance blocking the door. They'll need something to fight them off, so they go looking for Alex's car since he claims he has tools. The parking lot is pretty big and the group splits into pairs to search for the right vehicle. Unfortunately, Yang-yo and Jin-wook find a horde of zombies and have to climb on top of cars to keep them at bay using golf clubs. When the zombies begin climbing too, Alex and Sam soon reveal they made Molotov bombs at the store and start throwing them at the horde. As a bunch of creatures begin burning down, Yang-yo and Jin-wook use the chance to rejoin their friends and run away. Alex is the last one to move because he keeps throwing bombs, only for the zombies to surround him and bite him. Yang-yo wants to help him, but Jin-wook points out it's too late and drags her into a valet parking booth for protection. Sam-soo does go back to help, but the bombs on Alex's backpack also blow up and kill him. Since Sam-soo is still ignored by the zombies, he grabs Alex's keys and goes looking for his car. He never learned to drive, so Yang-yo and Jin-wook have to give him instructions on the phone. Sam-soo quickly loses control of the vehicle while the zombies start to surround the booth. At that moment, Jae-eun's phone picks the hotel Wi-Fi and calls Yang-yo. The couple is very excited to see each other again, and Yang-yo asks Jae-eun what floor he's on because she's in the parking lot. Desperate to protect her, Jae-eun lies and says he left the building with his team. He tells her to go to Suseo Station where the military is setting up a new base and promises to find her there later. The call is cut short when Yang-yo's phone dies. While the soldiers continue to shoot the zombies that keep reaching the lounge, they find Chef Paolo hiding in the kitchen. Then they finally sit to have a meal, ignoring Paolo when he writes down the charges for later. The team leader returns to the kitchen to grab a drink and finds a zombie in the vent. The group hears a noise and turns around to find the zombie coming after them, but since it's missing half of its body, it's easy to shoot it down. Unfortunately, the soldier comes back from the kitchen transformed into a zombie, and since it has a bite on his nose, they conclude that the closest the bite is to the brain, the fastest the transformation. Youngman steps forward and cries as he shoots his now zombified friend to kill him. In the parking lot, Sam-soo gets the hang of driving and runs over the zombies surrounding the booth to save his friends. Jin-wook takes over the wheel to leave the building and drives like a maniac to run over every single zombie he sees just to deal with his frustration. When the others calm him down, Jin-wook announces they'll stop at his mother's hospital first so Yang-yo can get medical attention for her injuries. Sam-soo tells them to leave without him because he hates hospitals, however he's hiding signs of the incoming zombification. After the car leaves, Sam-soo starts fighting the zombies, but he freezes when his body starts to transform. Since everyone is trying to reach the shelter, the traffic jam makes the trip very slow. While the duo waits, some hooligans break the windows and drag Yang-yo and Jin-wook out to steal the vehicle. They have no choice but to take the subway and they find the station as crowded as the streets. When the train arrives, everyone goes so crazy that Yangyo and Jin Wook are pulled apart. In the chaos, people push too hard against the safety glass and crack it, causing some passengers to fall on the rails and be run over by the train. Most of the crowd manages to get into the train, including Yangyo, who decides to give her spot to an innocent child and comforts the grandmother as the train leaves the station. Unfortunately, she notices that a massacre is starting in one of the cars, meaning everyone aboard is doomed. To make matters worse, Yangyo finds Jin Wook's watch and the blood on the tracks. Then the grandmother takes out a knife and jumps on the tracks to go after her grandson. Yangyo follows her while another train reaches the station and helps her get off the rails, only to realize the old lady was bitten. As the train leaves the station in front of them, the woman transforms into a zombie and tries to attack. Yangyo has no choice but to push her head against the train to kill her. Crying over this traumatic experience, Yangyo starts hearing her mother's voice and follows it to find a door to a restricted area. Inside there are some zombies, but she easily avoids them as she continues to follow the voice that takes her to an office where she can charge her phone. There's a first aid kit that she uses to take care of her wounds, some snacks from the employees, and even a chainsaw. It's not working, but Yangyo uses her engineering degree to fix it. After putting on some protective gear, she leaves the room and is attacked by zombies, so she starts killing them with her new weapon. Unfortunately, there are too many of them, so she starts running, entering a narrow passage to force them into a line. She starts killing them without mercy while hallucinating that they're talking to her. Eventually she finds an opening and runs through the area until she can hide in the emergency stairs, where she falls asleep. In the meantime, on another high floor in the building, it's revealed that Aaron is still alive because he's been hiding in a room after barricading the door with furniture. He hears about evacuation plans on the news and decides to leave, but first he protects his body with sofa cushions. Aaron keeps drinking a lot while making his way down the corridors to be brave. When he finds a huge stapler, he begins using it as a weapon to quickly kill zombies. At the lounge, Youngman realizes he's the man with the highest rank and therefore the new team leader. After giving Paolo a weapon, the group takes the VIP elevator and moves to the next floor where they're shocked to find Aaron. Sujing is happy to see him, but the soldiers stop her from welcoming her friend when they notice a wound on Aaron's leg. He confirms he was hurt by a zombie and an argument ensues over what to do with him. Aaron tells them he understands and that they should leave without him. Suddenly they hear some noises above and notice blood falling on the elevator's glass ceiling. The group gets out of the elevator right before the glass breaks and the zombies burst in. Everyone starts running as fast as possible and hiding in any empty room they can find while Aaron keeps on fighting the zombies with his stapler. When he realizes he's being left behind, he bangs on the doors and is ignored. The zombies soon surround him and he gets ready for the worst, but he's not attacked. He knocks on a door and shows a pair of soldiers how he can grab a zombie without consequences. In one of the rooms, Guy Young asks Sujing out and she agrees to a date after all this is over. In another room, the soldiers find the vents. At that moment they get a video call from Aaron, who is chilling with the zombies and confirms the vents will get them out. While the soldiers make the vent holes bigger, Aaron goes first to draw arrows that will guide the group to the exit. One by one the soldiers enter the vents and crawl through them until they reunite with Aaron. Guy Young and Sujing are moving together when suddenly a zombie falls on top of Guy Young. Sujing immediately stabs the creature in the head to kill it, but there's also a zombie horde approaching them from the back. The duo crawls as fast as possible while watching the zombies trying to move at the same time, which gets them stuck in the narrow passage. Eventually they bump into Youngman and Kyung-sik, so they keep on moving together. However, after a few turns they discover they've reached a dead end. When the zombies get too close, Kyung-sik opens fire to kill all of them. The shots are heard by the other half of the group and Jaeun wants to help, but the others stop him because it's too dangerous. Paolo panics and rushes ahead on his own, however a zombie jumps on him and bites his ear off. Kyung-sik quickly shoots the zombie before the group decides what to do with Paolo. They hold him on the edge of the vent pit to try to give him alcohol, but at that moment Paolo transforms, so they push him to his death. Soon another horde of zombies arrives and everyone gets ready to fight with almost no ammo left. Thankfully Aaron gets an idea. He turns on 2 walkie-talkies at a very high frequency and the zombies immediately follow the noise. Since Aaron is drunk they move past him and fall right into the pit. Back to Yangyo, she enters a room full of fog and is excited to find Jaeun, but he suddenly starts transforming into a zombie. He asks Yangyo to end it, so she's forced to defend herself. At that moment she wakes up from this nightmare and continues searching for an exit. She manages to return to the station and follows a mysterious song until she finds a room where survivors are hiding. There's also a famous singer there, which means this is another hallucination. While listening to the man sing, Yangyo looks at old pictures on her phone. She remembers the day she went camping with Jaeun and how he said that he'd understand if she broke up with him while he was in the army because her happiness mattered most to him. Now she's more determined to find him, so she gathers some supplies and leaves, using a scooter to dodge all the zombie attacks. Unfortunately the front gate is closed and the creatures corner her from behind, so she has to use the chainsaw again. After lots of wandering she finds the train tracks and starts following them, hoping to find the station Jaeun told her about. When she discovers a train, she sees the zombies inside and tries to ignore it, but she freezes when she sees a man leaving a car ahead. The guy calls his friends to make them come out of hiding, and they throw an object at Yangyo's head to make her fall. They steal the chainsaw and decide they must kill her just in case, so Yangyo pushes them off and begins running while the men chase her. Back to the team. Once everyone has reunited, they start descending by using the stairs on the pit. Eventually they find another vent that takes them to a safe room. The guys discover Sujing was grazed by a bullet and scold Kyung-sik for opening fire in a confined space. This makes Kyung-sik snap and he goes on a rant, pointing out this isn't the real army anymore. They're just a group of people trying to survive and protocols don't matter. When he gets punched for his attitude, he points his gun at his friends, only to put it down when Sujing threatens him in return. Aaron thinks they should take the cargo elevator, but they discover it's broken. There's a second one hanging outside the window a few floors down and Jaehoon is sent to retrieve it. While continuously panicking, he climbs down the rope and falls right into the elevator. He's horrified to notice the state of the city and even cries a bit. Afterward he activates the elevator and goes up to pick up his friends. Now everyone starts descending together and they think they're finally going to escape. Unfortunately the elevator gets stuck right in front of a window and the zombies see them, so they start pounding on the glass to try to reach them. Jaehoon desperately punches the elevator's control box and gets it to move again, but at the same time the zombies finish breaking the window and jump out. A vicious battle begins as the team tries their best to defend themselves. The zombies are holding on to the elevator base and the rope won't stand the weight much longer. After lots of struggling the group manages to push all the zombies off, but it's too late, a rope is already broken. Thankfully the elevator swings into a window and lands inside, so everyone gets out except for Jaehoon. At that moment the other rope also breaks and the elevator falls for several floors until Jaehoon crashes into a store with teddy bears, which cushions his landing. The elevator keeps going and lands on a car on the street. However, the team thinks Jaehoon is dead, and while everyone mourns, Youngman hides a bite on his arm. In-ho wants to retrieve the body in case his friend is alive, but Kyung-sik thinks it's a dangerous waste of time and leaves alone. When he reaches the corridor he finds a horde of zombies. In the toy store Jaehoon wakes up when a zombie wearing a teddy suit tries to attack him, not to mention all the zombies waiting outside the locked doors. He easily pushes the creature off and seeing it struggle inside the suit gives him an idea. First he throws the zombie through the window and confirms the suit protects the user from the fall. Then he puts on a suit himself and jumps to finally escape. He lands safely on the street and when he looks around, he notices some former soldiers are part of the horde now. Suddenly zombies begin falling around him and Jaehoon looks up to discover that the team is throwing them out the window. Everyone is fighting like crazy while trying to keep the zombies behind the doors. When they see Jaehoon they get excited and communicate through walkie-talkies to make a plan. There are a bunch of abandoned mattresses nearby, so Jaehoon creates a safe landing spot while the team uses the elevator rope to make a zipline. Using their vests, the team slides down the zipline one by one until only Youngman is left. He then reveals his bite wound and tells everyone to leave without him as his last order. The group searches all the cars until they find one with keys and take off, leaving Kyung-sik behind. When Youngman transforms and falls off the building, Kyung-sik shoots him while crying and thinking about all the times Youngman helped him. Meanwhile Yangyo finds an empty train car to hide in. The men are still coming after her, so she begins running through a bunch of cars until she finds the way blocked by zombies. She quickly hides in the luggage rack so that when the men reach her car, they go face to face with the monsters. While the zombies and the men fight each other, Yangyo leaves the train and returns to the tracks. There she's found by a female train attendant, who guides her through a bloodied hallway full of decapitated bodies. She explains that the men chasing her did it before inviting her to hide together in an office room. Yangyo puts a clock's batteries into the landline phone and calls her mother, but they don't talk for long to avoid being heard by the zombies or the men. In town, the team is having trouble finding a street that isn't blocked by abandoned cars. At that moment Aaron announces he's sobering up, so the team takes him to a restaurant where he can drink lots of alcohol again to stay immune. While the others get some snacks, Jaehoon finds a phone and tries calling Yangyo, but she has no signal. Next he calls her mother, who tells him where to find Yangyo. When the group sees a zombie child outside, In-ho cries as he thinks of his own children. Determined to find Yangyo, Jaehoon tells the group to leave without him and go see their loved ones. The team takes the car and Jaehoon steals a delivery bike from the restaurant. Eventually he reaches the station and goes inside only to find the gate closed. He doesn't hesitate to break it down to get further inside, but all the noise gets the attention of some zombies who are keeping a curtain up with some luggage. Jaehoon kicks them off and pushes the luggage to let the curtain close properly. Meanwhile the train attendant tells Yangyo to wait while she goes out to search for an exit. At that moment Yangyo hears her boyfriend calling her name and she yells back to confirm her presence. Jaehoon follows the sound while shooting or kicking every zombie that tries to stop him. There are too many of them though, so soon he's totally surrounded. Yangyo is also running around and thinks she finds Jaehoon at the end of a corridor, however it's a hallucination and a closer look reveals this is a random zombie soldier. He gets ready to attack but is suddenly killed by a shot from Jaehoon. As soon as the couple locks eyes, Jae-eun runs to Yangyo and removes an eyeball from her neck before embracing her in tears. Afterward they try to leave, only to find more zombies in the way. Before they can react, Eren and the rest of the team show up and quickly bring the horde down. They explain it's safer to move in a group, so now that the couple has reunited, they can visit their families one by one. Before leaving, Yangyo asks them to rescue the woman who helped her, but the team can't find anyone around. In private, In-ho shows Jae-eun that he found a body matching the description Yangyo gave them, and it even has the same name tag. It's been dead for 10 hours, which may mean Yangyo was behind the massacre in the corridor, not the men. They don't tell Yangyo the truth and the group finally leaves the station. As they drive to the city, they see all the destruction and the zombies wandering around. Yangyo gives Jae-eun the cassette she took from the bar while a flash on the screen reveals that she killed 59 zombies but Jae-eun only killed 9. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.